Hi, and welcome to another episode of Sean Talks. And today I have Henry here with me.
I'm Henry.
What do you do for a living?
I work for an Australian company. We distribute and we manage brands. What kind of brands? It's more to outdoor and very specific for professional use, specific tools for professionals.
I noticed that you brought some
Yeah.
brochures around.
Yeah.
Can you share with us what's all this?
Sure. I mean, I work for a company called Zen.
Okay.
Right. It's basically located in Sydney.
Oh, that's you.
Yeah, that's me. Yeah. So basically, I'm the country manager here.
Ah, nice.
So I help them to distribute a few brands. We have almost 10 brands in Singapore. So majorly of all our brands is outdoor related.
Okay.
All right. Basically, torches, headlamp, multi-tools, work knives. I understand, Singapore context is not really suitable for all this.
Yes.
But, understand my company is coming from a big outback country in Australia.
Okay.
So all this is their daily tools.
So it's quite common in
Very
countries
common
like
in
Australia,
Australia.
New Zealand, and
Yeah,
stuff like
Australia
that.
and New Zealand context,
Okay.
right? But not in Singapore. But the thing is, a lot of professionals and engineers and all that is actually using all these specialized tools to help them on their daily works.
Okay. And to be honest, right, I've known Henry for like a couple of years really through football, and he shared with me what he does for a living. And I feel that it's extremely interesting because it's something that it's not what we experience or we go through like day to day. Therefore, today I have him on the show to share more about what he's doing when it comes to like outdoor gears in a way, outdoor equipment / accessories in a way.
Yeah.
So when you talk about outdoor being very niche because it's like only found in Australia, New Zealand, and big countries, right? How is that actually applicable to a small country in Singapore? Because when you say torches, for example, I'm quite sure everybody here, right, at home, right, confirm got torchlight.
Yep.
So how does the torchlight at home differentiate from the torchlight you have, or rather you are providing?
What you bring up is a very, very good concept. Everyone actually have a torch.
Yeah,
in
precisely.
their homes, in their cars, or
Even on their phone.
even on their phones. You're right. But what you're using it, maybe it's energizers, only cost you like $15, $10. What we are selling, like the brand that I have, is called LED Lancer. It's a German brand.
Okay.
All right, very specialized tools, I would say, and then it's highly durable. I mean, it's a very reputed brand in the markets, in the international markets.
Okay.
It's origin from Germany,
Nice.
and they only focus on portable lighting solutions. So what we're talking about is torches and headlamp and all that.
Okay.
And back to your question is how all this fits into Singapore context.
Yeah.
All right. As you say, I mean, like if you have energizers that keep in your lockers for like maybe a year, 2 years, but every time, do you notice that when you pull out that energizers torches, it's either battery leaks or the battery is not working anymore?
Fair enough, because you don't use it for a long time.
Yes, you're right. But from LED Lancer, we are able to, not consume the battery life where the torches is not using. It's like on the hibernate mode. It will not drain off the batteries,
Okay.
and the battery will not leak.
So you won't have like a problems of battery leakage and stuff.
Yes, you're right. Because all this is very, very important.
Okay.
Because when anything happens, this is something which it will save your life.
I see. That's true.
Am I right? Imagine there's an earthquake in Singapore and all. It might happen. I wouldn't say it will not happen.
You don't know.
So anything happens, you need something which is you are able to realize on. So that is why all these tools is needed in Singapore.
And it's not so much for consumers, or is it for both consumers and for like corporations as well?
It depends on how do you see this. In big corporates, they are not able to afford to risk their engineers' life.
Okay.
Like imagine SMRT.
Yeah.
Right. An engineer work in SMRT, they are working 6 hours shift inside a black harness.
Yeah, precisely.
They want something which is reliable,
Safe. Most important.
most important,
Yes.
and to avoid anything happen or any mistake or any accident happen, they need to make sure their tools is reliable. So all this is needed in big corporate, definitely.
Understood.
And back to consumers is whether you think it's necessary. People like me who do not want to, risk my family, anything could happen. For me, I think it's a protection.
I see.
I have one like a keychain thing, with me all the way.
I feel that that's extremely interesting because you're right. Everybody has a torchlight at home.
Yeah.
So why would people think that the equipment that you're selling is quite of an expensive range, right? But
I give you an example. Energizers will cost you like $15.
Okay.
So mine is like $100. So it's like maybe a 5x.
Yes.
Or 7x.
7x
of that.
but what you get is an assurance.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah, I think that's very applicable to
Yeah.
what I'm doing also, because at the end of the day, we want to have, in case
There you go.
anything happens.
Yeah, and then
So that's why people pay for the additional
there you go.
premiums in
Yeah.
my aspect for the additional level of
Indeed.
support slash protection. What is one thing that you actually love about your job?
For me, myself, I love the outdoors. I exposed to a lot of outdoor activities.
Okay.
I like fishing, I like cycling, I do a lot of hiking.
I see.
I've been in this hobby for many, many years. Yeah.
Okay.
Because my dad,
Uh-huh.
he teach me how to fish.
Oh,
he
that's
bring me
nice.
to the outdoors.
Okay.
And yeah, my dad is also an outdoor lover, so I
Nice.
learned everything from him.
Which I feel that is extremely rare nowadays for young parents, because young parents tend to just keep their kids at home,
Yeah.
you know, go out, you fall down, stuff like that. And I think it's amazing because your dad has really exposed you to the
Yeah.
wonders of like outdoors, you
Yeah,
know, and what it can actually help you with. Can I just ask, prior to joining this company and like selling what you're selling, right?
Mhm.
Have you ever heard of these brands before?
Previously, yes, I know the brands, but I'm not familiar with their products.
So how do you actually get exposed to these brands prior to you joining this?
To be honest, all the brand that I have here majorly are very, very well known in the markets,
I
in
see.
the international market. It's just like North Face. If you are really outdoor
Oh.
enthusiasm, you know,
Yep.
you will know all this.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
Just
So
like,
if you're
you know-
in a circle, you know that.
Yeah. Just like we play football,
Oh.
you know Nike, you know
Okay, fair
Adidas,
enough.
and then you know Puma, and
see.
all those
So
brands.
what you're trying to say is that's like North Face is just more commercialized and it's like a daily
No.
wear sort of thing.
That's the thing, because in Singapore market is majorly all those outdoor brands are targeting more fashion and more lifestyle
Yep.
of products.
Okay.
I mean, they didn't see all this, all the gears. They don't bring in the gear because it's not necessary. You didn't need all this
Yes.
gear in
Fair
Singapore.
enough.
So the first thing they try to market the consumers, they always start with fashions.
Yeah, makes sense.
Because, you know,
Yes,
fashion is a big
correct.
thing. Shirts, trousers, shoes, you know, caps, everything, like, you know. I mean, a lot of people, you know, in all the design, there's always a why behind,
Mm.
right?
Practicality.
The practicality of why they design like that.
Yes.
You know, what kind of materials is that? Is
Okay.
it windproof or is it waterproof?
Yep.
There's always a why. It's not just a brand with the logo slam on it. That's all.
Yeah. I totally agree with what you say, because right, like for you guys who like are into like street fashion and stuff,
Yeah.
right? Nike pair with like Gore-Tex, you know,
Yes,
stuff
you're right.
like that.
Yeah.
And then they have this ACG,
Yeah.
hiking shoes.
Yeah.
North Face is so popular nowadays. Like people spend thousands of dollars
Yeah.
on jackets which like serve way more purpose than fashion itself.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I'm guilty of it as well, because I just see one celebrity wearing it, then there I go following it. And that's how the world goes, you know.
Yeah.
So
indeed.
for what you're actually providing, what is something that is getting increasingly popular among consumers?
I think in Singapore, there's a few activities which is very, very, you know, popular in the
Okay.
market. First of all, definitely is running. Basically, everyone runs. Lah.
Yeah.
You know, in Singapore, it's a very safe place to run
Fair enough.
because we have very well developed
Yep.
pathway and all that.
Yep.
If you want to take running to another step, recently there's a trend called trail running.
What is trail running?
Okay, trail running basically is you're running a mountain. Hiking is a bit slow.
So literally taking running to another step.
Yes, you're right.
Okay.
Yeah, you're running in high altitude areas.
So you're like running up and down mountains.
Yes,
and
you're right.
hills.
Yeah.
But in Singapore context, I only know Bukit Timah Hill.
Yeah.
And maybe another slightly more challenging one will be like your MacRitchie.
Yeah.
Where do these trail runners actually practice or go for their exercise?
Majorly all our brands, right, you know, where we sell to like consumers,
Yeah.
they are actually not used in Singapore. We are selling to professionals.
I see.
So all these professionals are actually taking part of activities in overseas. Like we have in the South America, we have Patagonia, we have in Japan, we have the Mount Fuji.
So it's just like nearby, next door, we
Yeah.
have this.
I mean, like majorly, I will say most of the Singaporeans who buy all this gear
Mm.
is used overseas.
From a footballer context, these gears are like football boots, shin guards,
Yeah.
to so-called protect yourself.
Yeah.
For all of you guys who actually play football, right, there are different grades of goalkeeper gloves,
Indeed.
shin guards, and different grades of football boots as well. The most expensive football boots, right, we call the premium ones, right, cost easily $400. The cheapest one, right, look exactly the same, but I saw the what we call the pro model, is only $90. So what I'm trying to say is that the equipment that you're actually providing for these trail runners overseas is of elite grade.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
Okay.
For our brands, I mean, like the brands that we are taking in is all only and specially built for more specific usage. I would say it doesn't mean that we do not target the mass community.
Okay.
But if the consumer thinking, hey, I want to upgrade my gears, definitely these are all the brands that they should look at.
So for a trail runner, right, you provide the torch.
What we're focusing is on the headlamp itself.
Okay.
It's not torch.
Oh, headlamp.
Yeah, because they have to run.
Oh yeah, so you cannot carry a torch.
Yeah,
It
you
must
don't.
be attached.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. You have a torch.
True,
You
true.
have to put a headlamp on. Okay, there's actually a requirement for a headlamp. First measurement on the headlamp is lumens, because that's how you measure lights. Okay, lumens is basically how many lumens is very, very crucial to them. Because you are running in the forest, you are running in nowhere.
Yes,
all right.
precisely. It's just complete darkness.
Yes, you're right. It wouldn't be like in Singapore, you have all the street light and all.
Yeah. Fair
So it is in a pitch dark environment.
Yes.
So you need something which is sustainable and to give you a consistent lighting. And this is very, very crucial because not all headlamps are able to give you a consistent lumen. Actually, headlamp, there's nothing rocket science.
Okay.
Right?
It's
a headlamp.
Yeah.
It's basically a LED connect to a batteries.
okay.
But what's so special about the brand that I'm distributing, which is called LED Lenzel, it's from Germany, is we are able to give you a consistent lumens within the specific hours. So normally when a headlamp overheat, the lumen will drop. It's not rocket science, it's a simple tech. It's just like that. Because when it overheats, if you drain off the batteries, the brightness of the headlamp will get lower and lower.
Okay, fair enough.
What we are able to provide is something which is very, very consistent and very stable.
Okay.
So it gives you a stable light of like 400 lumens for a very maybe 6 hours, 8 hours of run. So that is why a lot of people, all these professionals they are not using energizers. I'm not saying energizer is bad, but energizer is for mass consumer. It's not for this specific spots.
Understand.
So you need something which is very specific that built for all these people who need all this kind of spec to survive in this kind of situations.
Because for a true runner, right, imagine you use a lower grade headlamp in the week, right?
It just doesn't make sense.
It just doesn't make sense because the dimness, the brightness will start to go low.
And then you just, you don't see, if you don't see the roots of the trees, you just...
It can be quite dangerous as well. Yeah, precisely. Okay, so this trail runner hobby, I would say, is getting increasingly popular in Singapore.
Yes.
They will organize trips to overseas, be it Southeast Asia or like mentioned South America to participate in all this. We call them marathons?
Not really. Marathons, you need to do a lot of like swimming, cycling. But this one is focused on runnings, but it's running in high altitude and also downhill and uphill.
Okay. So an entry level of the headlamp, right? How much does it cost?
I would say a good one around 30 bucks, 50 bucks, something like that. From my band, the entry level is around like 60 to $100, something like that.
Okay, so for people out there who want to pick up this hobby of like trail running, what would you advise them to do, or how do they get started? Is there any groups or like Instagram?
I think you can check out one of my friends' community who is called Singapore Ultra Runners.
Singapore Ultra Runners. ULTRA Runners.
In short form, they call SURA. SURA.
Okay.
Yeah, in short form. You can check out on their IG and all that. They're doing enormous type of activities. They do a lot of things in Singapore and a lot of trail running related type of knowledge.
I think that's quite interesting.
Because very interesting.
For example, if I'm one person who wants to, I really love outdoors, hiking is like my hobby. Yeah. I'll definitely check out like trail running because it's something different. It's really another level. And for all of you guys who are actually keen on starting up this new hobby, please check out what's the Instagram that you mentioned again?
Singapore Ultra Runners.
Singapore Ultra Runners.
Yeah.
Okay. What is the most challenging part of your job? Let me guess. I would say that people asking you, what is the difference between your torchlight and other people's torchlight? What's the difference between your headlamp and other people's headlamp?
Yeah, definitely that is one of the hardest thing. To be honest, the hardest thing is because I work for an Australian company. I think the hardest part is not to sell all these gears into the market.
Okay.
Because what I'm targeting is always the professional markets and also the big corporates and all that who has the budget to buy all this for their employees.
They see a need for safety reasons.
Yes, for safety reasons, it's like a personal safety equipment. So they do not mind to invest in it. But for me, what I found the hardest thing to tell the brand owners about Singapore is how we use it differently compared in Australia, compared to America, compared to Europe.
Okay.
The founder himself built the tools for a specific usage in America. The other tools that I'm working on is called Leatherman. Leatherman is a very, very great tools. It's a great brand. It's a multi-tools.
So it's like a
That's-
Swiss Army knife from,
Yes.
from the pictures.
Yes, you're right. A lot of people know Swiss Army knife, but they do not know about Leatherman.
Okay.
But Leatherman do have a very big and very large fan base in Singapore.
Okay. I mean, the first time where I have an encounter with a Swiss Army knife was during army. I'm quite sure
Yeah.
many of you guys who have encountered is Victory.
Yeah, Victorinox.
Yeah. That's the one that the army so-called like provided lah.
Yes.
Right, when we first enlisted. So,
But Leatherman is very different because Victorinox is actually a knife-based multi-tools. The functionality of it is to cut.
yeah.
But in nowadays society,
Uh-huh.
you don't need to cut so much, right?
Right.
But Tim Leatherman himself is the founder of Leatherman. He created this because previously he do have a Swift knife with him. But in the end, because he had an accident in America
Okay.
and his car broke down,
Okay.
all right? He's thinking why the multi-tool doesn't come with the pliers. So he started to have that ideas
Okay.
and to create into a plier-based multi-tools.
Okay.
So in this multi-tools, you have a lot of different tools. Like in one single tools, you have up to 15, 20 type of different tools inside.
Wow. And how
Yep.
big is it? Is it like
It's not very big. It's just like
it's just like a normal
you-
Swiss Army knife size?
slightly bigger,
Slightly big.
slightly bigger,
Okay.
but you can just fit in your palm nicely.
Okay.
That's all.
So
Yeah.
okay, the only time nowadays where I use a Swiss Army knife is I bring it overseas. Because it has everything you want. I don't need to bring my scissors, I don't need to bring like
Makes sense.
whatever, you know.
Yeah.
So just one Swiss Army knife is enough. You want to cut off labels and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's quite handy.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say is the Leatherman, do we call it a Swiss Army knife as well?
No,
No, it's not
it's
Swiss.
it's Leatherman.
It's a Leatherman.
It's Leatherman.
So it serves the same purpose as well,
Yes.
which is pretty handy. Just that as compared to a Swiss Army knife, yes, pliers.
Yeah, pliers. It's a plier base.
Is a plier base.
Yes, because imagine you are a plumber, you are engineers.
Okay.
Why would you not need a Swiss knife to be with you every day?
Okay.
Imagine that I'm an engineer. I go to service something in my client house. I don't even need to bring the whole
The toolbox.
toolbox.
Yeah.
I only need one element because everything is inside. I'm able to cut. I'm able to pliers. I'm able to screws.
Oh, so
I-
there are screws as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's a lot of things you can do with it.
So one Leatherman is enough to do like your handiwork.
Yes, you're right.
Okay,
It's more like a handy tool. It's suitable for a lot for like handy person, you know.
Okay. Like what you mentioned just now, the most challenging part of your job is actually to like convey what the brand owners who are not based in Singapore about the Singapore market.
Yes, you're right.
Because we don't see things
Because
like the way they do.
yes, you're right. You have to let them know things might be different in Singapore.
Yeah.
Because end of the day, the role of a country manager is to bring out what is the problem and what kind of issue that we are facing in these particular regions.
I
You
see.
get what I mean? I monitor Singapore, Indonesia, and Malaysia. I'm born in Malaysia.
Oh, okay.
I'm a Singapore PR. I know a lot of things about Malaysia and Singapore PR, like brothers and sisters.
Yep.
So to let them know that what is so different, how we could apply differently,
I see. I
to
see.
fit in differently in a different context.
I would say that even like Malaysia and Singapore itself, right, is already very different. Already.
Yeah, you're right.
Right. Because in terms of like the trail running, for example,
Yeah.
it's definitely not found in Singapore. It's
Yes.
not accessible in Singapore. You have
Yeah.
to organize like weekend trips away to Malaysia to
Yeah.
actually do it.
Yeah.
So in fact, the market itself is extremely different.
It's very different.
Uh,
Although we are brothers and sisters, but it's very, very different.
same but different.
Yeah.
Okay. So in terms of like Asian context and like you're addressing to your, I would say your higher ups who are based in Australia, right?
Yeah.
What is the main challenge? Like, do you find it sometimes very hard to actually communicate with them because it's like just like you are there, I'm here, you have to come here and see it, but if you don't see it, you don't trust me and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, that is definitely the hardest thing to do. I
Okay.
mean, because, people build everything based on trust.
Yeah, fair enough.
You still have to trust your country manager to make decisions.
Okay.
That's why, end of the day, we need to show them a lot of data.
Yeah.
We need to archive data, and then because it's not like, playing a game,
Yeah.
because I like then I make decisions.
Correct,
you know,
correct.
because I think this will work. Then I will
I
take
see.
decisions. So for us, it's all about how much of data that we can
Because it's
collect.
really the true results.
The
of
true
statistics.
results. Normally we start with small,
Mm.
and then only we will consider whether we want to invest more.
Ah,
So we need to try and try and try
okay.
until we get the results. Then we know, hey, there is something there.
The consumers actually want.
Yes.
The market actually
Then
wants.
only we'll target. Okay, now we're going to pull the fund from
Uh-huh.
Australia and then put it into Singapore.
I see.
Yeah.
Wow. So it must be quite taxing on your end as well. to
Definitely. I
really-
mean, like,
different countries, you have to get different data, obtaining the data and to address your higher ups, convincing your higher ups that this is it, this is what the market actually wants in Southeast Asia.
yeah, that is all about business also. I mean, you need to validate.
Okay, fair enough. Because the reason why I'm asking this, because I would say that a lot of young adults nowadays, right, they're working for big companies,
Yeah.
American companies, like even worldwide companies
Mhm.
and stuff like that. But not many people have the opportunity like you do. Based in Singapore,
Yeah.
but the highest are in Australia, by a country manager for Singapore, Indonesia, and Malaysia as well.
Right.
So to anyone out there who's interested to be a country manager, no matter what field, what is your advice to them?
I think just be yourself, be patient. You need to be very, very patient.
Because it will get quite frustrating sometimes.
Yes, you're right. Because myself, I work for a huge mega company, right? It's a very developed company in Australia,
Mm.
but it's not so much in
Yeah, fair enough.
Singapore. So I would say we do not have too much resource here, but no one is going to control you here. I mean,
Yeah.
no one is going to micromanage you. You have to tell yourself what you're going to do today
Yep.
because your boss is not going to be
Yeah,
here.
correct.
Yeah. So that is very, very crucial.
Yes,
If-
you have
if-
complete freedom to do anything you want.
Yes, but at the same time, you need to do something.
You
Like,
need to be accountable in a way.
yes, you need to
Fair enough.
manage yourself very, very well.
Because at the end of the day, is you have to report to your higher ups. You are
And-
here, you want
yeah.
to do whatever you want, but you just have to deliver the results, the data, and if things are not going well.
Yep.
They're gonna look for you.
Yeah, that's all right. You're all right. You're very, very
Interesting. Okay. You mentioned just now you're actually from Malaysia. And
Yeah.
how long have you been in Singapore?
I've been in Singapore more than 6 years.
More than 6 years. But you travel to Malaysia pretty often as well?
Yeah, definitely. Because I'm from JB, so
that's quite-
my parents are there. So every weekend I went back.
Okay,
to my
okay.
parents' house. Yeah.
So what made you come to a decision to actually come to Singapore? Is it because of work or?
Previously, actually, I have my own business in Malaysia, in KL.
Okay,
Because of COVID, I shut them down.
Okay.
It's actually a tech. It's a startup business.
okay.
I'm in the startup since previously.
Hmm.
Because it's a travel related startup. So we collect travel data and all that. But eventually, because of COVID strike and all that, so we cannot sustain.
Because we cannot travel as well.
Yes, you're right.
Okay.
So, minimum travel
Yep, yep.
things. So there's been no data for us to collect and
Fair
all
enough.
that. So our investor decided to, just to shut down everything and then
Okay.
to cut loss.
Okay.
So, and then I just follow one of my investor all the way came back into Singapore. Actually, my first job after migration is in Singapore.
Okay.
But I went back into Malaysia and all. I mean, Singapore is like my second home. I watched Channel 8. I grew up with Channel 8 and Channel 5.
Okay.
I watched the same cartoon.
Okay,
As
as we
yes, you're right.
guys. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. Because like what you mentioned, you're a country manager.
Because of the work, basically.
Okay. So you deal more with Singapore market in a way. That's where you are mostly.
Yeah, definitely.
Then the Malaysia side, you also do a jaga lah in a way, on and off.
Yes, you're right.
Go back lah.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's one thing that you're actually thankful for in Singapore as compared back home to Malaysia?
Oh, I think although like I'm a PR here, I'm not really born here, but I really think that Singapore is a really great country. There's a lot of opportunities in the market. I see that as a very, very different compared in Malaysia. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I still love Malaysia a lot. The food, the sceneries,
Yes, the things that you
outdoors.
can do.
Hey,
in,
I'm the outdoor guy.
Yeah.
All right. So the great outdoors is always
Precisely.
in Malaysia rather than
I
Singapore.
totally
all right?
agree. Because the things that you mentioned, right, is all available in Malaysia,
Yes.
but not in Singapore.
So the one thing that Singapore have, Malaysia don't have is actually the business opportunities, the opportunity to to approach into international company
I see.
like what I'm doing now.
Okay.
I work for Australian company, so that kind of opportunity you don't really get it in Malaysia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because people want to invest in Singapore rather than Malaysia.
Fair enough. But with that being said, I definitely agree because of the activities that you can do
Yeah.
in Malaysia as compared to Singapore. Because like your hiking,
Yeah.
your outdoors and stuff,
it's
your
all-
camping
Yeah.
and stuff like that. I totally agree because I was studying in Australia previously, so I know what you can do in bigger countries with more more land now. Okay, let's put it
Yes.
more land
Yeah, yeah,
compared to
yeah.
a tiny country like Singapore. Okay, what are the 3 advice you give to a fellow foreigner, Malaysian, Indonesian,
Mhm.
coming to Singapore to work? Should they expect? What do they have to prepare? You know, because it's never easy to enter like going to a foreign land.
It's
although
hard.
it's like so near.
It-
Definitely.
It's actually very, very hard. Actually, I start from like an intern, I start from zero. I graduate as an architect.
Okay.
So the first job I get in Singapore is actually an architect firm. It's one of the largest in Singapore. I think I worked for about 6 to 8 months only.
Oh,
Then I decided to quit. I don't really like desk job. to be
okay.
honest.
You
I
still
like
the outdoors.
I like the outdoors, I like talking to people. I like discussing business opportunities. That's my characters.
Okay.
I'm not a desk workers.
Okay.
But unfortunately, architect, you a lot of job has to be
Desk
done on the desk. Don't get me wrong. I like to study. I like to talk about architecture.
Okay.
I'm an art student. I love design.
Nothing wrong or
Yeah.
architect. It's just him. It's
Yes,
just
you're
him.
right. It's just me. I have tons of friends still doing architect. They are still doing it in Singapore.
Okay.
But it's just not my style.
Okay.
Alright, I just don't like it.
Okay.
But overall, back to your question, I'm saying you just need to bite it off, bite your tongue off, it's going to be hard. It's very different compared working in Malaysia and Singapore. In Malaysia, it's in about 3 p.m. It's like your tea time.
Oh,
You
lang kopi
yum-
already.
Yeah, you lang kopi, yum cha.
Okay.
You get me? In KL, we call yum cha
Yum
time.
cha,
All right.
okay.
So in Singapore, I don't really feel that there's a yum cha culture here.
Yeah, you yum cha tomorrow, no need to come back. already.
Yes, you're right. So you don't really have a yum cha culture here, and then everything is very, very by book. I will say it's pretty strict lah. I mean, but I mean, in the long run, you keep practicing it. Then you
becomes a way of life.
Then you get used to it.
Fair enough.
Because at first when I come here, I don't even in Malaysia I have my own car.
Yeah.
I drive all the way to my work, and then I get off my cars. And in Singapore, you have to take public transport.
It's just
So
like a
it's-
very big.
It's very big
Yeah.
difference for Malaysians because all the freedom is not there. But hey, everyone did that.
Yep. Fair enough.
Yeah,
And
even
that-
Singaporean did that. So
respect, man.
nothing to be pressured about.
Yeah. So you say that maybe like some of you guys who are actually foreigners who are based in Malaysia or Indonesia, your advice is just bite the bullet
Yep,
and just come over.
yep, you're right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because when it comes to like business and employment opportunities, it's way better here as compared to back
Yes.
from where they are.
Yep.
Okay.
That's
okay.
a facts.
Interesting. So I'm an insurance agent and I always wonder what is the main difference, or rather, how does insurance differ in Malaysia versus Singapore?
The policy I think is a bit different.
Okay.
Yeah, the scheme is a bit different. How they do it is a bit different also. But I think Singapore have a much developed scheme lah. I mean, if you look at if you are a PR, you are able to use your MediSave and all
stuff
that.
like
Yeah.
Yep.
There's government backup lah, I would say.
Okay.
But in Malaysia, there's a lot of people without any insurance.
Oneself take care oneself. Yes.
You're right. because it's very big. So
Okay. It's
you
hard
know,
for them to actually
it's
control.
yes, it's very hard
Okay.
for them to control everyone.
Okay.
Not everyone can afford insurance
Yup,
lah.
yup.
So
And the reason why I'm asking is because like I work for a company where we have like so-called external companies in Malaysia as well. So Malaysians will ask who are working in Singapore, they'll ask
Wait, I also buy from a company. How come different?
because that where I need to explain to them,
Yeah.
Singapore there's your CPF, there's your MediSave,
Yes.
It's like, yeah, definitely if there's something happen, we'll pay out, but it just happens like
Yeah.
very simple, one ringgit, one Singapore dollar.
yeah. It's very different.
I see. And in your opinion, right, what is the most important insurance that a foreigner coming to Singapore should actually look at? Because the most common objection or people, Malaysians telling me is that I'm really covered in Malaysia already, I don't need anything here. Yeah, so in your opinion, what do you think is the most important one?
I think it's medical. I mean, like anything could happen in Singapore. I mean, like if you're working here, who knows? I mean, you get disease and all that because, like, you look at the past history and all
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
like, from SARS to COVID, things might happen.
Yeah.
Although you are in a very clean cities like in Singapore, but it's a very compact urban area. So
Correct.
it's very different compared to Indonesia and Malaysia.
Yeah.
I think medical is the first thing I am able to thought of.
Yes.
And I think that is very, very crucial. lah.
Yeah, I think I totally agree with what you say because
Yeah.
I've been a huge advocate of like medical insurance, especially for foreigners in Singapore. Although they tell me that, yeah, if anything happens, go back to Malaysia, seek treatment, but today I will ask them like if it's an emergency,
Yeah.
can't be you suddenly queue up.
Yeah.
Go over, right? So it's always important
Yeah.
to have like medical insurance in Singapore, although
It
it's quite expensive because you do not have like perhaps if you're not a PR, then you want to have your MediSave and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So what is your goal for the future?
For me, I just started to be ready to settle down in Singapore, to be honest.
Nice.
Like, I'm planning to have kids.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just married for 2 years.
Congrats.
My wife is soon to become a Singaporean.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And me, myself, I'm a PR. So basically, we're going to settle down here
Mm.
and then have our kids here.
Call Singapore home.
Yeah, man. I mean, like, if you look at every aspect, I think that's the best thing that we should do. I mean, it's
Okay.
a good decision for our futures and for our kids.
Okay. How about for your work-wise? Any goals you have in mind? Any interesting or exciting things that we can actually look out for?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, next year, I'll be spending more time in Indonesia, to be honest. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I'll be there and setting up a team
Okay.
and to expand our business into Indonesia. You guys know, I mean, like, all these tools are actually more suitable in those kind of contexts. Indonesia is huge.
It's huge.
It's just huge, and it's a growing population. It's growing community.
So growing community in terms of like trail run.
it's not populations. It's based on their business.
I say.
Like example, like mining.
That's
You
what
do not have a mine site in Singapore again.
Yeah.
Right.
I understand.
So the requirements is not high here. So you don't have mine site. You don't have like oil and gas.
Yes.
All those type of things. I mean, like, because when we talk about all those extreme environment,
Yes.
you need all these tools.
Correct.
Yeah.
I mean, with all due respect, because in Indonesia, that's where natural disasters tend to happen.
Yes,
that's
you're
when
right.
you really need a very reliable
Yep.
equipment that won't cock up the last minute.
Yeah.
Yeah. And being a
Right.
country manager, you're required to really go there,
Yeah.
establish the market.
Indeed.
Sounds very exciting, but challenging at the same time.
Yeah,
But that's
definitely.
That's what work is.
Yeah.
Right. What are 3 things that you actually look out for in an insurance agent or financial advisor?
I think it's more to customize based on everyone needs.
Okay, first,
I-
it's based.
I think that's very important because everyone come from different background.
Fair enough.
Have different budgets.
Yep.
Doing different things, different career, and how this advisor can help us to somehow plan for our futures. To plan for the emergency happen.
Yeah.
I think that's very, very
Yeah,
crucial.
I think that's the key thing because when it comes to like you are providing like
Yeah.
kit lamps and stuff like that, it's all about needs.
Yeah.
If I'm myself, I'm not a trail runner, I'm not involved in it, why
Yeah.
would I actually need it?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's all about needs-based selling, like because everybody is different.
I think insurance is very, very customized. Like, you
Yes.
have to be very, very customized. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like me, myself, I put myself in dangers. Because I need to go to my site and all that, you get what I mean?
Exactly.
So yeah, definitely I have a different role, and everyone have different medical
Correct.
condition and all
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Yeah. So
And you're an outdoor guy. So
Yeah.
you definitely need to be well protected in a way.
you're right.
Yeah, and I also know that you are into fishing.
Yeah, I fish a lot.
You fish a lot in Singapore,
yeah.
Malaysia.
Singapore also, Malaysia also. Singapore, yeah, I have a lot of friends doing fishing. Fishing, don't get me wrong, running is the first activity. Second one would be fishing.
Hiking.
A lot of people doing fishing in Singapore.
Yeah, I know fishing is a
Fishing
growing
is a big one.
community
Yeah,
in
it's
a
a big
way.
one. Hiking also.
Also, a lot of water, right? Where you go to fish in Singapore?
Actually, there's quite a lot of you can actually, hire a kayak, just to do kayaking, fishing.
Oh,
There's actually you can just Google online. There's a lot of vendors doing renting out their kayaks for
Okay.
fishing.
so how often do you fish?
In a month, about like 1 to 2 times.
Singapore, Malaysia.
Sometimes Singapore, sometimes Malaysia.
So which one more fun?
Sorry, Singapore, but Malaysia.
Yeah, fair enough. Because if you want a great outdoors, go to a bigger
Yeah.
country with more land like Malaysia. Okay, if that's the case, is there anything else that you want to share with us about yourself, about your career, about fishing, about trail running, about headlamps?
If you want to check us out, can follow us on our IG.
Okay.
We have like official website.
Okay, so what's your IG? Let us know. What's your IG?
You can check out our leatherman.com.sg.
LEATHERMAN.
Yeah, and then that is one of it. And then if you're looking for torches and headlamp, you can search through our website called ledlenser.sg. Yeah, this is
Letlenser.sg.
the logo and all that.
I see.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for a better Swiss Army knife,
Yeah.
throw away your Victorinox and go for Leatherman
Yeah,
because it's more practical.
people who know will know lah, because there's actually a big French group here
So
in
it's, if
Singapore.
you know thing.
Yeah,
eh?
yeah.
So North Face, Patagonia, mainstream. Go
Yeah,
for Leatherman. Go for what's this brand again? Sorry.
Let Lenser.
Let Lenser. With that, thanks Henry for being here with us today, and we will see you real soon.
All right, see you guys.